All right. Well, I don't know about how much sweet selling there was on this show, especially in the next match, but let's go back to AEW Dynamite.
Well, that's the problem. The next match, people were calling this a great tag team match between the Hardley Boys, Maddie and Nikki, and Ospreay and Fletcher for the tag team title. And I'm trying to, it was a great, long, big, long match.
Multiple picture-in-pictures.
Multiple. And you couldn't follow the shit when it was the only thing on the screen, much less with a commercial on the left-hand side. Did I write down how long this thing lasted? It was 13, said easily 20 minutes. But here's the problem. It wasn't a great tag team match. It wasn't even a good tag team match. It was a wonderful athletic exhibition. It was, was it more video game-ish or more kung fu movie-ish for the things that the kids play when they're bored these days? It was a lot of that. But this wasn't a wrestling match, and it's not. It's AEW. Brian, what tag team match of the last 5 years that we have watched did I say was the greatest tag team match I've seen in 20 years or maybe ever? What company presented that match?
I think it was AEW. I think it was FTR versus Juice Robinson and Jay White.
Yes, it was. And they went an hour, 58 minutes actually. And it was one of the greatest tag team matches, if not, as I said, the best I've ever seen. So it's not like I won't give AEW any credit. It's just that whatever this was, it wasn't a tag team wrestling match. There were no tags within 30 seconds. They just all jumped in and started doing four-way spots. And that desiccated corpse of a referee just stands there slack-jawed because why does he referee all the Buckaroos' matches? Because he's their guy. And he doesn't do anything. And he doesn't care that he looks like a feckless asshole. And
every match is a Texas Tornado gymnastics match. And this was classic Bucks of several years ago when it was nonstop, big moves, kick out of everything. The fans going to the indie shows went crazy. It got exposed on the national stage. People stopped caring. But it was a Texas Tornado match.
And, the guys having to stand in position forever to, catch the dive or the flip or the whatever. They have the baby face straining to make a tag when both the heels are just in the ring beating his partner up and the referee's then are doing nothing about it. And they stay in for all the spots, and then they'll tag in and out until they come in for more spots.
If you pay attention to Rick Knox during this match, it becomes so interesting watching him do nothing. At times, he just stands in the corner kind of split-legged with his hands at his side, and he does nothing. He's just watching what's happening.
And at one point, he got a round of boos because he was so zoned out by just every repetitive thing he was seeing in front of him looked like they were on visual speed search. That then Ospreay gets a cover and the referee stand and not do anything. Oh, shit. And he runs and count 1, 2, and the people booed the shit out of him. Like, what the fuck? You haven't done anything in 15 minutes and you're standing there staring at this. And then one of the baby faces has to lay on the floor and sit there and watch the two heels kick the shit out of his partner until it's time for him to come in and make a save. And then they go through the series of moves where you can't tell who is beating who up. One guy will pick a guy up for a fucking power bomb, and the guy will spin in the air and grab him by the hair and face buster him. And that guy will jump up and turn around, and the other guy will stick his foot down his fucking throat with a flying savate kick. And then everybody will suddenly just decide to sell all at once when nobody sold anything. And then at one point they gave Fletcher a spike tombstone pile driver off the top rope onto the apron. Then he's on the floor. He was dead for 9 seconds, then rolls back in. And by the time they come back from the commercial break, he's giving stereo styles clashes to one of the buckaroos with his partner, Willie Boy. And then they did more four-way video. Is this what the video games look like these days?
I don't think you play any video games. I don't see any video games that are like this. Even their video game wasn't like this, and their video game bombed.
Well, because, I mean, human beings don't do these moves, and they make no sense, and they require the obvious cooperation. And I'm thinking, what are they acting like? Because this is not wrestling shit. What are they? Is it the live-action kung fu movie then, or are they trampoline gymnastifying?
You know, whether they realize it or not, it's a live-action The Kid with the Golden Arm. It's a Shaw Brothers film. So that's what this is.
Well, so, and then... Here, the fates were even trying to be kind to me. They were 16 minutes into this fucking thing, and I recorded the program on two different DVRs in the house, right? And on both of them, 16 minutes in, I got a sudden black screen, and then the DVR would jump ahead. One of them jumped ahead 4 minutes. One of them only jumped ahead 2 minutes. But it was like automatically the cable gods were trying to say, he can't take anymore. Get to the end of this fucking thing. So whatever happened in that 2 minutes, they come back. They're all diving to the floor. And Don Fallis gets up and gives Kyle a screwdriver. He was giving everybody a screwdriver, and then some of them would use it and some of them wouldn't, and some of them would take it away from the other ones, and they'd try to stab each other in the face and hit the turnbuckle or whatever. And they were using a screwdriver. Well, now the screwdriver returns. Don gives Kyle the screwdriver, and then Don runs around and draws the referee. And old Kyle rolls in the ring, and he draws it back, and he's gonna stab one of the fucking goofs. And then suddenly Ospreay is there and grabs his arm and jerks the screwdriver away. And he said, no, you can't, bruv. You can't, bruv. You can't stab him, bruv, with the screwdriver. You think my impressions are going to get over like yours do?
I like the cut of your jib, not your screwdriver, bruv.
Yeah, yours is better, I guess. Anyway, so the Ospreay, the narc, grabs the screwdriver and walks, instead of just throwing it out of the ring, he walks over and hands it to the referee. Like, here, I want you to know that we're not using this, that you don't even know is happening because you're a complete idiot and you've turned your back on everything.
You really have all the referees to hand this important
here, instead of just flinging it out of the ring, here, I'm going to entrust you with this. So then old fucking corpse referee immediately walks to the other side of the ring and leans out and starts trying to hand it physically to somebody and obviously turning his back so as not to see anything. So Maddie has gotten one of the title belts, and as Ospreay turns, and why does everybody, when they turn around to go in the other direction, they turn at a dead run? They suddenly turn and take off like, I'm going to go now. And he runs right into the belt. Boom. Maddie nails him with the belt. And then Maddie rolls the goddamn... I think he dropped the one belt. And then Fletcher rolls Maddie up somehow. No, wait. Maddie hit Ospreay with the belt. That's what it was. And then he's got the belt... But when Fletcher rolls Matt up, Matt throws the belt out to Nick, and Nick hits Fletcher with the belt or something. But somehow they ended up hitting Fletcher with the belt in the head too. And they cover him, and they got a 2 count. They can't even fuck the fucking baby faces when the baby faces that they're fucking are mostly heels. And then they picked him up and did that shitty double knee lift, and that did the trick. 1, 2, 3. So it was a goddamn ridiculous finish. And
in a match filled with ridiculous finishes.
In a match filled with ridiculous non-finishes. And and again, who were we? So we're cheering for the fucking team managed by the evil bald guy that gives people screwdrivers to stab people with. What?
The part where Matt Jackson kicked out of the big moves was the most egregiously unbelievable thing of the match. And again, wrestling is an unbelievable sport, but there are certain things that push the imagination beyond what's normal. Matt Jackson reverting back into Road Warrior Buck again, where he's the strongest force in the universe. Ridiculous. They did multiple finishes for minutes on end, kicking out of everything, while the referee did nothing. This match, there are a lot of people who thought it was amazing, to a lot of us who thought this 5 years ago, 7 years ago, whatever it was. It's the same thing we've seen before. It's just a Texas Tornado match where the Bucks get to do the stuff they want to do with their friends. And it doesn't fit into the world of professional wrestling. Doesn't fit into the rules of wrestling. And I wasn't a big fan of this match.
And it is, as I've mentioned before, the reason why that they were able to attain the position they have attained is because they found marks that were willing to let them do shit that nobody else could do, wanted to do, or should have done. And then you get over until everybody realizes that's the only thing you can fucking do.
Yeah, well, that's the problem, too. This is a stadium show in New York, and it was the smallest stadium show crowd that they've done in New York. And this was just a match on the show. Most Dynamites draw, equal to, if not less than at this point, what the Bucks are drawing on the Indies. Right? When we were told they were the big drawing card and going to all these random Indies and drawing big houses against, the Hardys or whoever they were working with, the crowds are smaller now than they were then.
And they're in Arthur Ashe Tennis Stadium. What about if they decided to play tennis where they let one group of the doubles people, they can both cross back and forth and hit it on either side they want, and they can catch it and throw it back with their bare hands if they can do that. I bet it might pop the people, but should they just be allowed to do that because they can't really play and follow the rules?
And the other sad thing is the team that comes out of this looking impressive is Ospreay and Fletcher, who I'd never seen team before. And they had size, and they looked good together. They had size there. Because someone recently said to me about Daniel Garcia, they go, you think he's a big guy. He's a lot smaller than you realize, but because everyone on AEW TV is so small, he looks big. Who knows how big they are? I think Fletcher legit is like 6'5" or something, but they look good in there together.
Well, that's the thing. If it's too late now, because Ospreay's, he's closer to the end than the beginning with the way that he works and the shit that he does. But if these two guys were producible, what a fucking babyface team with all the fancy things they could do if they did 3 of them per match and had strong heels to call a match. You could make money with these two guys as a top babyface tag team. Athletically, visually, cosmetically, they got fancy outfits, they're flashy. They look good, but it's just more of this nonsensical fucking parody wrestling that, that they all have to do when they get in there, and they take the feedback of the smallest group of fans possible to determine what they should do with their goddamn careers.